Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new right client revolution, how to find and attract the right clients for you and your business. I'm excited you're here for this free webinar, and let's get started. I want to welcome you and let you know that we have enabled the chat function, so I want to hear from you. I want you to go ahead and say who you are, where you are, and maybe just tell me one thing that you're hoping to get from our webinar today. I'd love to hear that information. I use it to improve what we share with you guys, but I also might be able to add things in on the fly if I know what you're looking for. So I'd love to do that, and in interest of your time, we're going to go ahead and get started because I love to end early. You know, if you know anything about what I talk about and what I share with my clients and my community, I value time. I value my time and I value your time. So my pledge is that we will end on time, if not a little early. Early is always the goal, and we'll kind of go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the presentation so that we can get that started and we'll get going. So give me just 1 minute. And there we go. Now you should see it. Awesome. I can see that. Let me just present to everyone, and then we should be good. Okay. So welcome to the Right Client Revolution. I have kind of some secret agendas with this, and one of my little secret agendas with the Right Client Revolution is that I hope to eradicate the words bad client from entrepreneurs' vocabulary. I hope to shed so much information on what the right client can do for you in your business that you almost never serve one again. That's my mission with this. That's kind of my behind-the-scenes motivation to this. So I'm excited about this. As you'll see, I have been in your shoes to where I have served clients that have not been ideal for me, and I've put a lot of these principles into place to define the right client for myself. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a few minutes, but let's just get started. So choice is a big topic that I talk about because you do have the choice. And I think one of the most empowering parts of being an entrepreneur is the realization that everything in your business is a result of a choice. Whether it is something good or something bad, it is a choice that you made or you abdicated and you allowed somebody else to make it for you. And so one of the things I love to do with my clients is empower them in their choices and help them realize that they have ultimate control. That the good news of the situation is that you can change anything at any point in time, and you can do so by choice or by intention. And when you make the choice, almost every single one of your choices, you're choosing between being on that prosperity freeway or being on that kind of side trip, detour to poverty. And what happens on a lot of our entrepreneur journeys is that we make those detours to poverty until we see where we're going, and then we get back onto that prosperity freeway. What I love doing as a coach is keeping you on the prosperity freeway the whole time. I'm not going to allow you to go down that poverty road because I don't want you to have the pain of that. So that is really what is here is I'm happy that you chose to be a part of this webinar and to join us today, and that is a choice that you should celebrate because those choices to invest in yourself are really the choices that keep you on that prosperity freeway. So bravo to you, welcome, and we're happy to have you here. Now, what I also love about business is I always say to my clients, there's more than one way to skin a cat. There is more than one way for you to have success in your business or in business in general. And that's the fabulous part of being an entrepreneur, is being on your path to success and having it be perfectly okay that it's not the same path that somebody else may be taking. What I hope to do with today's webinar is really help you bypass these failure points on the way to success as much as I can so that you stay on the path to success and can achieve it that much quicker. What I do know is when you take education like what we have today and the strategies that I share, they will catapult you. They will make you get to your success points faster with less mistakes, less time wasted, less money wasted. And I think that's really what we should aim for in our business, is being able to get to that success quicker and happier. So a little bit about my story and why I do what I do. And this is a picture of my family when I was probably about 10, 11. My youngest sister wasn't even born yet, but we're here for Christmas. And my family was an entrepreneur from the beginning. My mother and father held several businesses, of which I participated in kind of willingly and freely. I enjoyed it. And that was a part of my life. There was a point in time, though, and it was actually their last business, that we were starting to see some success. Most people know you can be in business and not be very successful at it. And my family, unfortunately, was right there for the most part of my childhood. We were nearing poverty, although I had no idea that that's where we were. But we should have been on food stamps. We should have been right there. So we were like right at that brink of make or break it. And they had one business, a beauty supply business, that was actually going pretty well until the day that it wasn't. And through either mistakes or misguided counseling, they had an accountant embezzle $20,000 in sales tax money. Being the family that we were, not having financial resources, that was devastating to my parents. And suddenly it was as if, you know, the light and the joy that that one business had brought to them was stamped out and kind of smushed into the ground. It literally was pulverized and represented, the failing of that business really represented a downfall to my family. So why is that important? Well, as a child, I made a really simple equation. You know, children can think very black and white, and I did. I said, being in business for yourself is bad for the family. It damages families. It kills families. Because in essence, that's what this did. I mean, after that business, my family went through a very dark period until my parents divorced about 7 years later. Which, by the way, was at the end of their bankruptcy. Interesting note, I just realized. But it really was a simple equation for me, and I didn't want to go into business. I didn't want to be an entrepreneur because I was afraid of what it would do to my family. Now, this is my family today. Picture's a couple of years old. We need to go get some new family pictures. But this is who they are. They're vibrant. They're huge personalities. We're very active in our schools and athletics and community, and we love living life. And part of that is that we travel. So you can see how important kind of the family aspect is, and you're going to say, but Leslie, you're an entrepreneur. You're in business for yourself, and I am. It was a journey to work past, you know, that childhood learning that I had, and to really, through my own experience, go through the ups and downs of my first business and transform into really understanding the business strategies that you can implement to have a healthy business, to not kill yourself doing it, to have enough time for your family, and get the best of both worlds. So nowadays, when I look at what it is I do and my why behind it all, is that I help entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, really create successful businesses so that they can have a healthy and vibrant family. That's what I do. That's my end goal, is that you are using your business to fuel your life, not allowing your business to be your life, because it really does tend to be one or the other for a lot of people. So my entrepreneurial story is that I started my first company in 2007, and I'll be honest, we hit 6 figures really quickly within the first year, and I thought I had a lot of things squared away. What I've learned since then is it's easy to make money with a bad business in good times. It's hard to make money with a bad business in bad times, and that there are certain things that you have to do to recession-proof and almost economy-proof your business in today's world. So as I found out, in the crash of '08 and '09, we lost over 50% of our business. Excuse me, sorry, I had a sneeze. We're live, people. But it really was a very dark period of time in my business. I was very frustrated. I was very depressed. I was angry. And I love the fact that when you are struggling in your business, this is what marketing likes to paint a picture of. A nice, calm person meekly sitting in this jar that they can't get out of. Calmly. Calm is the key here. What it really felt like was this. It was a mixture of being so angry at myself, at my clients, at my employees, so angry, and then mixed with this exasperation, exhaustion, depression of not being able to find a solution. And for 2 years, I was there. I was looking for the answers. I was looking for the solutions. I just didn't realize that I was asking the wrong questions, right? It really took somebody outside of my company to show me the questions that I needed to be asking of my company. So I had a bit of a out-of-body experience. I was at a conference. I told you I was searching for these questions. This is what we do. We read books. We go to conferences. We're looking for the answer. And I sat there in the middle of easily 150, 200 people and really felt like a failure. I felt like I was clueless. Obviously I didn't and couldn't find the answers. And if everyone around me who seemed to be doing great could do it, why couldn't I? Because there were a couple of things I knew. I knew I was pretty darn smart. I'm going to say that. Most of us are, right? We have intelligence, and we use it in our ways that are our strengths. I was like, I knew I'm smart. Why can't I get this? Because it's not about being smart. But I knew I was determined. I wasn't a quitter. But I felt like I had banged my head against the wall so hard. There was a dent in the wall, but it was still there. It was still there in front of me. And so I made the decision to either get out or get help. I actually said I was going to get help, give it 6 months, and then get out if it didn't work. If I was the problem in my business, then I obviously didn't deserve to be in business. So I decided to get help. I actually hired a business coach that I couldn't afford. The company, or actually I paid for it personally for 2 months, and then the company started to being able to pay for the coach by month 3, which is pretty fabulous. And what we had happened is really just some basic business strategies, some basic business principles, learning the simplicity of business that enabled me to turn around that company. And I turned it around so much. I actually won an International Business Award from Mr. Brad Sugars for growing that business 150% in 6 months. That's fabulous. I'm not going to say that it's not. And I definitely said when I accepted, I was like, I earned every bit of this. I did the work necessary to get there. But what it is it wasn't hard. We have this concept that business has to be hard. And usually I have found that when business is hard, you need to change something about it, because business is actually simple. We just choose to complicate it, or we allow complications into it. And that's what the big learning for me was. So when I have easily 3 clients that I can think of right now that we're planning their growth for next year, and we're looking at 300, 400, and 500% growth in their business. That's staggering, but it's easy when you know what to focus on and how to focus on. And that was a lot of what, being able to turn around my personal business, my first business in 6 months, showed me. And it's been since then that I've been on a journey just to refine it and refine it, each and every step to be the business that I want it to be. And it's actually my first business I no longer hold. I started this business, Your Biz Rules, in which we've been around for about 18 months. A lot of you have been in our community easily for this year, so I'm thankful for that, and thank you for joining us today. And but that's what's amazing, is how simple business can be, how you can choose every bit of it, and how the success is really different for each person. So I love this. I love this little guy. I use him a lot, but he's kind of fun. We've been hanging in there all day waiting for you. You know, the hard part of doing presentations like this is you don't get to see what people are really responding to. So I want you to let me know what you love, let me know what you don't understand, introduce yourself to the group, and really just help us help you better, because it's in that interaction that we actually start to get the aha moments. And if you have an aha moment, like your light bulb just went off, I want you to share it with us, because that might be the exact piece of information that somebody else needed to have their aha moment. So we're really in a very pay it forward spirit here, and that's a lot of reasons why we do webinars like this, why I write so much on the blog, why we do the podcast, which is actually relaunching here shortly, so that's exciting news. But I'm going to give as freely as I can in our time together. I'm going to go as deep as I can, but know this is such a content-rich kind of environment. I can only go so deep in our time together. But if this makes sense for you, I promise you I'll give you information on how you can take this further, and you know how we could work together on really being able to cement this into your business so you have long-lasting results as of course of this information. So this is for you. I think this is so apropos. Face down in the computer, coffee cup, just being wiped out. And a lot of people serving poor fit clients in your business creates these emergencies and these fires that seem to have you running all day long. You're constantly in response mode, and you're never able to really be in a proactive mode, either to have time to spend on your business, to have time to spend out of your business, being, you know, going to have lunch with your children if that's what you want, picking them up at 3, you know, being able to make the plays and performances that you want to make. The emergencies and the fires make that very difficult because you're afraid to be away from the office for what might occur. So if that's you, then take heart. We're going to share some information with you that's going to help. But if you have been working hard, again, there's that hard word, to serve demanding clients, and you still don't have money in the bank, that is a problem. I have no problem if you love to serve demanding clients, but you should have a result to show for it, and the way of profits. That's what business is about. It's about being in a profitable venture. Otherwise, you're a charity. So and even charities make money. So I wanna kind of drive that home. But if you have clients that never seem to be satisfied, no matter how good of a job you do. I know I have had these clients where I have gone back and, you know, I've been reamed for one thing or the other, and I go back and I look at everything and I'm like, I did a rock star job. I did everything I said I would do. They agreed with me along the way, and now I have this to pay for it, to be paid for it. If that is what you have in your environment, then you're serving poor fits of clients, right? You're not with your ideal right client. So we're going to talk about this. And the last one I love, because I know in my first business I said this all the stinking time for a couple of years, is I'm ready to shut the puppy down. And I didn't even use that kind of language. I was not happy. I was just ready to shut it down because I was done with a lot of the unpleasantries that were in the business. If that is you, if that's what you want to say on a near daily basis, then take heart, because there is something on the other side. We just have to get the poor fit clients out of your business and redesign that whole client process to only be right for the right and ideal clients. And what's exciting is I know you can do it because I've done it for myself and I've helped other clients do it for them. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of what I teach my clients, a little bit on a higher level, but there's a couple key takeaways that you're going to be able to have today. So you're going to understand really what mistakes you're making that drive your ideal client away, and they may shock you. There may be some shocking ones in there. Then we're going to talk about the 3 most important characteristics of your right client. I gave you that wonderful bonus that helps you kind of ask questions and be able to get the specifics of a potential client's mindset and problem and where they are in that whole problem solution cycle. But you've got to get these things down, because so many people spend time chasing the wrong clients who aren't ready to be served, or even if they're the right client, but they're not ready to be served. We waste so much time there, and I want to help you eliminate that and be able to move on, because the faster that you are able to deselect poor fit clients and find your right clients, the faster you are going to have the joy that they bring, the income that they bring, and really the results that happen as a course of your work together. So we're going to talk about how serving that right client can be more profitable and fun and allow you to charge better fees, which is great on all accounts. And then we're going to kind of go into how to never serve the wrong client again. Okay, so again, if you're here joining us, I see we've got several people on, so just say hi in the chat function and join us and let us know who you are and where you're from. We'd love to be able to give you a shout out. So let's talk about the 3 mistakes that drive your right client away. I watch these like crazy. I watch them from a business coach standpoint of market research when I'm out hearing owners talk to each other and just going, wow, that's really interesting. I see it in my own clients, especially when we're early on in our working relationship, and this is one of the issues that we're trying to fix is the right client versus poor fit clients. These are just mistakes that everyone makes, and I know people don't consciously know that they're making them. So I want to share this with you. So the first one, I love this, and it's a bit blatant, but we tell our right client to go away. And we tell them to go away in several ways. One, because we've had the wrong client, because we may be freshly licking our wounds from the last poor fit of a client that we had, we tend to get a very angry, defensive attitude. Well, we only blah, 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 blah. You can fill in the blank. It's the tone of the voice. It's the way you speak. It's the way that people interact and basically say, well, you're not going to be a good client, so I don't want to talk to you, before you've even had a conversation with clients. This also shows up in how you potentially take a good client and turn them into a bad client, because you're placing expectations that they are going to be just like the last bad client. It really is a defense mechanism that we have, one that you may consciously be aware of or not. But when you start to listen to the words that you are using, the tone that you are using, the way that you disqualify a client before you've had a conversation with somebody, you will start to see how you're actually building up a wall. That wall is trying to protect you from serving the wrong clients, but in doing so, it's not welcoming the right clients in either. And so you work yourself steadily into worse clients. Maybe they make it over that wall and kind of come in, and then we put them into a situation that teaches them bad habits, or you just have no clients because your wall is so high, even the best client can't come over it. The other, so I do see defense mechanisms popping up in business owners when we're trying to protect people. It's a natural subconscious reaction to being through a poor fit client. I always say you lose time, you lose money, but you also lose a piece of your soul when you serve a bad client. And if you're not conscious about that, then it does develop this bitterness in you for the next client. And that really just drives away our right client. We can feel it when the energy is negative. Our right client doesn't want to be a part of it at all. And why should they? If you want what you want, if you think about it when you're the client in another business or another situation, how is it that you want that relationship to be? If it's going to be cantankerous, if they're grouchy, if they don't want to respond to you because of XYZ, you're not going to want to do business with them. I mean, this makes natural sense, but this is one of the biggest mistakes I see entrepreneurs make. The next one is we confuse the crap out of our clients. And you can say, no, I don't. I'm very detail-oriented. I tell a lot of things. The problem is is that when we're in our business, there's going to be 3 ways we confuse our clients. Let's start with the first way. The first way is that we're not willing to make a choice on what we say we do and how we say it. So we talk in the vaguest of terms and don't give our clients examples that they can identify with and say, that's me. You know, there's a way to do that in such a way that still opens you up to a lot of people. But to really tune in and get tuned into what their problem is and how you solve it and what effect you can give them in their life, that's huge. So we don't communicate that well, partly because we're afraid to choose. We're afraid to make that choice. Remember I said, even if you choose not to choose, somebody else is going to choose it for you? That's one of the ways that we confuse our clients. The second way that we confuse our clients is we give them way too much option. And the reason is we want to be flexible, right? We want to meet our clients where they are, but we do so without any rules and with too many options. And so when any person is confronted with that many choices, they don't decide. You push them into an indecision point. And so if you've ever had a situation of saying, well, we could do it this way, or we could do it that way, or we could do it this way, or we could do it option 4, and that would be a hybrid of options 2 and options 3, you've lost your client or potential client. And so you have to have that clarity of intent and a clarity of communication that enables people to say yes, because that's really what attracting the right client is allowing people to select themselves and allowing your poor fit clients to deselect themselves because it's not for them, and that's okay. The third way that we're going to confuse our clients is we're just inconsistent. We're too inconsistent. I think there's the flip side of never trying something on, not testing and measuring, and testing and measuring something new every 3 seconds. There has to be a certain commitment and consistency to what you are saying. And I'm not saying it has to go too long, but a good month to 3 months to be able to test something out is huge, because it's not just the commitment that you're saying one thing and saying it consistently. It's also helping you build your confidence to say it better. All these aspects come into play. And when you're changing too much, the client gets confused. I'm sorry, didn't you used to do this? Oh, well, yes, I still do this, but now I do this. They have to hear the same message for a certain period of time in order for them to associate you as the solution to the problem. Okay, so we're not consistent, we're not clear, and we communicate way too many options. And that produces a confused client. The next part is we go looking for a needle in a haystack. As a right client, it's really much more about flexibility. So one of the things that we work with our clients on is kind of giving them even their top 10 most important things about their client. What are they? And I'll ask my clients when they have a new client, where do they fall into this? Are they 7 out of 10? Are they 8 out of 10? The chances of you finding a 1, a 10 out of 10 are actually kind of small. You need to understand that you're looking for an 80 to 100%, maybe a 70 if you educated and guided they could become into that 80, 90, and 10%. You're looking for the top 20%, not just the single one. The other part of the needle and haystack kind of mentality is because we haven't defined it well enough who that right client is for us, how they show up, what kind of work we like to do, all of the elements that go into that, we fail to realize that a lot more of those straws are quality individual. So we're sticking our head into this massive hay bale that represents 20, 30 clients that would be right client fits for us. But because we've either reacted so poorly or so strongly to our poor fit clients, and we're looking for Prince Charming at 100%, we fail to see what's around us. And I truly believe that there are so many of your right clients in your backyard, in your neighborhood. One of our focuses this year is actually to get more clients in Dallas. I have more clients outside of Texas than I do inside of Texas. And looking around, I'm like, I have a huge backyard. There are people I can serve in my backyard too. And that's really the element of what, looking for your right client is. It helps you see actually how many people are staring at you, just waiting to hear the music of how you can help them. So in the end, when we're serving the wrong clients, what we do, we tend to shun away the right clients. Maybe a client makes it over that wall, but they're not a good fit. And we've been so kind of confusing that, what maybe we've agreed to is not what they were intending. So now we have this, wrong client, but we don't have enough clients. And so we need more money in our business. So we go chasing after whoever talked to us last, even if they are such a poor fit. And we might even, kind of beat them into submission to working with us. We hound them. There's a fine line between following up, because the fortune is in the following up, and recognizing when it is a poor client fit. When it is something that is too hard, too cantankerous, too confrontational for it to be a good client fit. And so we take this negative energy and we're chasing the money. It's where a lot of people feel like they're chasing the money, they're hunting for the client, they're searching in desperation. And all of that is just symptoms of not really having that right client defined in your business, plus all the pieces that go with it. And I'll talk a little bit about that here in a few minutes. So what are the characteristics of the right client? I mean, we've talked about how we're shunning them away. But let's start to talk about some of the things that you need to define for yourself that really make the right client. And as a whole, I picked these three because I think they're universal. I don't care what it is you're doing, how expensive or inexpensive your product is, it doesn't matter. If these three things aren't in alignment, it doesn't matter. So let's go through them. Okay. So the first one is there a problem? And I love this slide. And the reason I love this slide is because, in case you're having a hard time seeing, there's a gentleman, he's rock climbing, he has no safety harness on, and he's, could plummet at any point in time, perilously into the ocean, risk life and limb. But is it a problem? If you look at this, does he think he has a problem? If you look at the resolve on his face, I see no stress. I see determination, but I see no stress there. So we oftentimes can look at a situation and we can see the problem, but he doesn't see a problem. And so if your ideal client or prospective client that you're talking to doesn't see the problem, it doesn't matter. You could talk all day long. They have to, on some level, recognize that there's a problem. Otherwise, you can't help serve them, okay? There won't be the motivation, there won't be the intent to produce a good client. And they don't care how much it is or isn't. It's always going to be too expensive because they don't have the problem that needs to be solved. The second part of who a right client is yes, they see there's a problem. And we'll kind of go into the fact that I'll back up one. Even when there is a problem, there generally is the problem that they think that they have and the problem that you really solve that they don't understand. So you remember, like when I talked about my 2 years of searching for a way to bring my business back, my first business back, I thought I had problem A. What I really had was problem B. I just had a coach, somebody who could help me, who understood that I thought I had this problem, but what I really had was this problem. And we didn't need to argue about what the problem was because ultimately the solution took care of it. But that's kind of the element there. They have to see that there's a problem. The other part is they have to be looking for a solution. It has to be a priority on their plate. The greater the priority, the less the price becomes an issue. If this is a impending problem, like they can't see a future without solving this problem, they must solve this problem in order to move on to something else, They are actively looking for a solution. You have to be able to see that they're looking for a solution. And then you have to understand the speed in which they want to solve it. I happen to be a very type A personality, creative, but very driven, very ambitious. I don't have time to wait 24 hours. It's one of my faults. It's my strength and my fault. I can take super quick action, and I'm ready for a solution now, in the next hour. And if I can't find it, I solve it myself and I move on, right? So that's one extreme. The other one is people that need more reassurance that this is a good solution, that this is going to be appropriate for their problem. So you're going to have clients on that both sides of the spectrum. You just need to recognize who that person is and that they're actually looking for solutions. So they can be very blatant, very obvious, how can you help me? Or they can be very much, so tell me, how is business going? What are you working on? Oh, I'd love to sit and chat with you. Very, very subtle. And so you need to recognize, but they need to be looking for a solution. The third part of it is they need to have a habit of investing in themselves. Price is one of those problems that so many people have. Price is half a mind game, being your mind game. The other part of it is identifying what people will spend money on. If they have a problem, if they are looking for a solution, and if your solution matches up, price is not an issue. If price is the only issue that your prospective client is talking about, I challenge you to ask yourself, is this a good client fit? I see so many people trying to sell misaligned priced packages to people who would not invest. They never would. They don't have a history of investing. Going out for dinner for $50 is, highway robbery, whatever it is. And then we're trying to sell with them. So we're trying to sell to the wrong client when we try to sell to somebody that doesn't have a problem or doesn't see it, that isn't looking for a solution, and never makes investments in themselves or their business. Okay? So that's the top 3 characteristics that you're looking for is, do they make investments in themselves? Are they looking for a return on that investment? Are they actively looking for a solution? And do they realize they have a problem? In reverse order. All right, so why you really only want to serve the right client? I think some of that's obvious, right? You're like, of course I want to serve the right client. They're better, they're more fun to be with. But if you remember those mistakes that we talked about when we serve the poor fits, when we serve people that are not a good fit with, you understand there's like this negative energy vortex that just kind of sucks you down the drain. When you're serving the right client, it actually has the opposite effect. You actually have this vortex that much more lifts you up versus dragging you down. And so what you'll find when you're serving the right client is that you are going to start off serving fewer clients because you're going to say no, or you're going to allow your poor fit clients to say no and serve fewer clients. That makes a little space in your business, right? When you have a little more space in your business, when you can think clearly, when you're in a good mental state, you serve your clients deeper, right? You're not putting out fires, you're not having to be super ultra responsive, unreasonably so. You don't have that sign, failure to plan upon your part does not constitute an emergency upon mine, plastered all over your office to make you feel better. You have space and time, and when you have that space and time, you can work with your clients at a deeper level. When you work with your clients at a deeper level, they get better results. All right? When they get better results, they're happier, and they become raving fans who's telling everyone they know about their great results. When you start to see better results, you can start to communicate the value that you provide to a greater point and therefore charge for that value. So then you can serve, if you choose, fewer clients, right? And serve them deeper and have them have better results. And it's just this kind of self-fulfilling cycle in the positive way when you start to serve the right clients. I'm not going to lie to you. There's going to be a little bit of unsteadiness when you first start on these paths, when you're building momentum into the right clients and having to say no to money, no to a poor fit client. It can be darn right scary, but I will say every time you make a decision based upon money alone and don't look at the quality of the client, it comes and bites you in the behind. And so I would rather have you unsteady in step 1 and 2 so that you started to get the momentum of 3, 4, and 5. And then you started to see it escalate. And that's really one of the strongest benefits of the right clients. I had a networking meeting with another company, and they asked me, how do you handle bad clients? And I was kind of taken aback by that question. Not that I should have, but it struck me. And I sat there and I thought about it because I always try to think, what am I doing today? How am I handling this today? And what would I tell my clients? And I sat and looked back there and I was like, you know what? I have put so much attention into who I serve and how I serve it. And the fact that I want my first appointment of the day to feel as much enthusiasm as my last appointment of the day, that I don't take clients that don't fit. I'm clear on what those characteristics are. And so that's kind of the exciting part of this, is you will get to a point to where you are only serving the right clients. You have to build the momentum of it. And I'm not going to say it, an occasional bad one doesn't sneak in, because sometimes that's masked. But when you are so in tune to what makes somebody a poor fit client or a great fit client, you're going to be able to say, ooh, you know what? This isn't a relationship that's working. Let's end things amicably. Let me put you in touch with somebody that would be a great fit for you, and let's move on. Because in the end of my goal, my end of my day is I want clients that love working with me and are having great results. And you can do it in a pay it forward kind of manner. It doesn't have to be a negative thing, but this is really the biggest benefit of serving the right clients. As a nature of the course, like I was just saying, when you know the value of what it is that you do, like I know I can change somebody's business hundreds and hundreds of percentages. I can double their business. I can triple their business. I understand what the value of what it is that the work that we do together, so that the price is appropriate for the value. I think one of the worst things is when you are a rock star at serving your clients, but you're not being paid well for it. That's demoralizing to you. You're giving your best effort, and when you give your best effort, you should be rewarded for your best effort. And that's the joy of being an entrepreneur, is being able to have that reward. One of the other ones, and we talked about this, about having happy clients that turn into raving fans. But raving fans are a marketing engine in your business that brings more people just like your best clients. But you have to have the intention of creating that process through mapping out what the client experience is, how you're going to reward the right client for saying yes. Because everyone knows that those people are like kids in a candy store. When you give them opportunities to talk about all the great things, when you have built that into their client experience, and when that client experience is consistent, then you start to have your raving fans. But it has to be an intention. A lot of referrals through former clients and existing clients happen through the nature of the course because you're doing a good job. I'm saying when you're intentional in your raving fans, it is exponential. And it's one of the best marketing that you can do in your business. So it's kind of the benefit of the right clients and helping feed more right clients back into your business. So how to only serve your right client? You have, I've said this a ton of times, but you have to be intentional. And when you're intentional, it means that you are defining really who that right client is. So I want to give you kind of the broad overview of what the right client revolution is all about. It's really about step 1, defining who is perfect for you. And I love this. I even love this picture. To me, you're perfect. That means it doesn't have to be perfect to your neighbor. It doesn't have to be perfect for another colleague. It has to be perfect for you. And there's something to celebrate about that, right? Something about the control and the choice of defining who it is that you love to work with. The second part of it is really kind of mapping out how you're going to attract these clients, how you're going to communicate to them the problem and the solution and where. And then it's a part of building that client engine. How do you make this predictable? Generating new clients can be one of the most time and money consuming parts of your business, right? How do you make this automatic? How do you make it so that it's almost a no-brainer in creating these ideal clients for you? And you have to have that engine in place, the process, and know where they're coming from so that you know what parts and pieces you need to put into your engine in order to produce those clients. Then you have to go into the right relationships. I talk a lot about leveraging people, and that includes leveraging your network and leveraging connections. But who are you going to be doing that with? You know, a lot of the problem with a lot of networking is that people go out and they're networked, and I networked and I passed out business cards and there were 40 people there, but I didn't get any business. You need to get into the point of being able to identify the right relationships and who they can be in your business in order to truly start to produce the right client for you every single time. Then we're going to look into the experience. So I talked about the raving fan, right? That's a lot of what this is the client experience from the moment that they hear about you to the moment they call to the moment they say yes and what happens every step after. Okay, that's really important to do. And then we've talked about this. So how do you say what it is that you do in a way that the right client needs to hear it? A lot of people struggle in that area. And then the last part is how to sell the value that you provide, because it's a lot of the packaging that comes along with attracting but also getting your right client to say yes. So that's really high level. We're going to dig deep, or as deep as we can, into number one of really how do you define that. You can see there's a lot more that comes behind it to really create that engine, but we're going to go into the how do you define who is perfect for you. So there are 4 quadrants. I've tried to get as high level as I can. I actually have a tool that is a survey and allows you to go through all these different aspects and just click, click, click as much as you possibly can. But when you look at who your ideal client is, you're going to want to say, what is it that they look like? This would be demographics, okay? What do they look like? Then you're going to ask about who they are. So it's a little bit more the psychographics, like, you know, what's behind who they look like and where they hang out. Then we're going to talk about how they behave. This is an element that we leave out like crazy when it comes to thinking about our potential clients. So we don't define their behavior, and then we wonder why we have clients that misbehave. All right. And then we want to also look into how do they relate to the problem. When you understand how they relate to the problems that they're having, you can position your solution so much better. So it's everything from, you know, the age, the religion, where they live, if they're suburban or urban, where, you know, to what they value, why they do what they do, what industries, you know, what their personality types are, to how they behave, and then how they relate to the problem. I'm going to dig a little deeper into how they behave because that's a huge component that people forget. But you can see that's 4 times 9, so there's 36 right there. There's still more after this of really all the aspects that you can choose. If you think I'm crazy, I have a 9-page document that I put together that defines these things for me. It is an amazing tool that you can use internally for your team. You can use externally if you're having any graphics or marketing or website design. So lest you think it's just about getting the right client, I want you to see that this is actually a pivotal tool in your business that makes it so much easier for your marketing to get alignment, for what other people say about your company to get alignment. It's really kind of exciting. So how they behave is where we're going to dive deep. So I would say this first column of clarity, motivated, and decisiveness is huge for me, you know. But what's fun about this and why it's about you Okay? It's not so much, this is the framework, and it's not so much that it has to be cookie cutter, but you need to ask the questions to yourself. How clear do they need to be in where they want to go and how they want to get there? How much clarity do they need to have? And how motivated are they? Now I'm going to say here motivation is a predicate to a good client. Almost could have been back up there with our 3 top characteristics. They have to be motivated. If not, how much of a cheerleader are you going to be? How much effort do you want to put into keeping motivation going? So if somebody says, well, I always have a hard time finishing something, is that a good client fit for you? That would be one of those telltale signs. You know, and people will offer that information about themselves, but how self-motivated are they? The next part, and this is really huge, is how decisive are they? Not only can they make a decision, because that's key, can they stick to it? Or do they change their mind? Do they need to see 100 options or 2? Where are they on that life cycle? It's okay if you say, I don't mind serving somebody that needs to see everything under the sun, because I need to see everything under the sun. So I'm seeing it anyways. I might as well show it. It's okay for you to define that. Me, not so much. We're not going to be a good fit there. Okay? Participation, responsiveness, speed of work. How quickly do they work? How quickly do you work? How quickly are they expecting you to work? Speed of work is huge. And a lot of times this can be one of the major points of being misaligned in a business. Responsiveness. Are they going to be able to answer your questions when you need them to answer? Are they only available at 8 o'clock on a Friday night? Participation. How much do you want them to participate in the process? I know a lot of business owners that just want to be left to do what it is that they do so well. But maybe you enjoy the partnership and the team aspect of it. Then I would also say that it is important that they are focused on value, not just price. There are going to be people that talk about price because they don't understand the value, and so it's your job to communicate the value. But if they're only concentrated on price, is that somebody you want to work with? And then here's another key. Will they work well within your process? Or are they asking for customizations? Are they asking for allowances? And, oh, that's really not going to work for me. Can you do it this way? How much of that are you really going to allow? And in what areas of your business will you allow it? This is important to know because you're looking for that fit, right, of 80 to 100% in your business. You have to know when you've gotten to the 50 and 60 level or even the 70 level. Looks pretty good on paper, but there's something there that's not going to work. And the last part, and I think this is the key for all of us, is that they are willing and able to refer you. This is something I actually talk to my clients up front. You know, it's been a part of my contract. It's been all of these elements of, you know what, the way that we market and keep our costs affordable is that we rely on the referrals of our happy and satisfied clients. I expect you, when we've exceeded expectations, to be able to refer 3 people. That's not crazy. And you notice I didn't ask for it at the end. It's not an end thing, per se. It is something that can start from the very beginning of your relationship, but you know, that's a part of it, is are they willing and able to refer you, and how okay are you with that? Okay, so that's just, you can see, and I've just tried to give a couple of questions around each of these categories of really defining how your right client behaves. I know I've had people and colleagues that will take their time, they enjoy the process, they enjoy getting to know their clients on a super deep level and having things evolve, and that may take them 6 months. I tend to work a little faster, and so that same process that they go through in 6 months, I might go through in 3. Both are okay. You just need to know where you are and know what you're willing to accept. I know to what speed I can take on and have a good impact. And so I judge by that. Excuse me. So when you do that, when you have the defining of the right clients, you'll start to see this happen. And I love this little quote because I think it's apropos. But when some people see letters, they hear words. But what I hear is music. Your poor fit clients are going to hear the words. Your right fit clients, your right clients will hear the music. And when they hear the music, some magic starts to happen. They start saying yes. They're saying yes to you, but they're also saying yes to themselves. And I need to make sure that you understand that that yes is almost a little bit more about them than it is about you. So sometimes when people are saying no, they're saying no to themselves more than they're saying no to you. But when you define the right client, remember before I said one of the mistakes were that we push away the right client because we're trying to defend and protect. When you've worked into the right client mentality, you have worked a way that makes it easy for them to say yes. And what you will find is there will be people that are like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to work with you. I can't wait. I'm excited. Let's go. I don't want to talk anymore. I'm a yes. Let's go. Those are the magic moments when you know that you're actually saying things in such a way that it is music to their ears. But also that client experience part that I talked about is all about creating the yes moments, all about setting up the relationship in such a way that it's easy for your client to say yes. They're not going to have to jump through 30 hoops in order to get there so that they can prove that they're a right client. You know, so easy to say yes is huge for being able to attract and retain the right clients. And in the end, what you'll find is you're not looking for a needle in the haystack. You're looking at a sea of hands of people saying yes. What is most amazing to me, and I love seeing, you know, what I teach in action, but even in just how I've picked up a lot more of my personal networking, one-on-one networking. I told you I'm focusing a lot in my backyard. As well as other ventures out there, but one of the things I'm doing is part of my marketing plan is networking. It is amazing to see how many people are like, oh, I need to talk to you. Really? I would love to talk to you. When can we talk? Instead of me hunting for somebody to talk to. So that's what's exciting about the right clients is that they will raise their hands. You need to be sensitive to how obvious or subtle that raising of a hand might be, but that is truly kind of in defining the right clients what you'll have on the other side. And you'll notice the difference. Remember before, if we were chasing after the almighty dollar and chasing after poor fit clients, what a difference it is to be welcoming and to be inviting and to almost be standing at the front door of your home if you work from the house or from your business and saying, welcome, we've been waiting for you and we're so glad that you're here. That's a completely different mentality. Completely. It makes you excited to go out there and get the clients. So how are you going to put this to work for you? And that's part of what, if this is making sense to you, if you can start to see how the blocks are starting to come in. But as I showed you earlier, this is a 7-step process. We just highlighted and went as deep as I could go into the defining your right client. And you could definitely take that information and run. But there's a little bit more here. There's some aspects that we need to kind of go. So I'm gonna paste a link into our chat box so you can join me on a web page that's going to kind of go into more depth of what we're doing. So Amy, can you just verify that you can see that in our little chat box for us?
Yes, I sure can.
Awesome. I want to make sure it's there. Guys, you can click on that and go straight through, and this will take you to the Client Revolution program. And what I'll do, just in case, because I know sometimes, you know, websites and all that nice fun stuff is so much fun, I'm going to switch the screen that I'm sharing with you so you can see that. Anybody out there that's listened, do you have questions about what we've talked about so far? I'd love to hear them. Now would be a great time. Okay, let's see. Okay, oh, sorry. I'm assuming you can see my Right Client Revolution out there. Amy, could you just verify that as well?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so I didn't mention this at the beginning, but one of the other things that generated the idea to bring this webinar to you was I put a Facebook post out on our business page of what's the biggest challenge to creating predictable cash in your business. And I got 36 responses, which is pretty awesome for Facebook nowadays. But half of them were all about the right clients. And so it was interesting. I want to share some of the responses, but it's like finding the people that I can serve, you know, being able to get in front of them and talk to them, having their attention for long enough, you know, being able to fill my program, being consistent with it, having a pipeline. All of these elements are really problems that are created when you haven't done the work to create the engine. The work doesn't have to be hard, but you do have to put the thought to it. Your thought to it pays off in dividends. And so that was one of the inspirations to it because, you know, it's very familiar and a lot of people have that same kind of issue of finding the right clients in their business. So I wanted to share 2 case studies with you. So I'm just going to scroll down and then I'll stop because I know it gets crazy when you're sharing screens. But you know, case study number 1 is Diane, and Diane has a thriving business. I mean, it really does seem that clients come out of the woodwork for her, and she has had those times in her business, like most of us, where the times weren't so good, where there wasn't money, when there wasn't work. And so there's this kind of deep-seated fear that it could stop at any moment. And so she takes everyone on, even the people that she shouldn't take on. And through this, she has more work on her plate that she knows how to handle. And some of her internal deadlines, and even some of her clients are starting to notice that she's not getting things done when she said she would, that she's not being able to be responsive, and that she's entering into this reactionary mode in her business that creates emergencies and fires. Okay? So she really wants to serve great clients, and she does have some, but because she's not picking who she serves, she's serving everyone, and so everyone's getting through, the good and the bad. Our case study number 2 is Jane. Now, Jane has been in business for a while, but you remember I talked about we push away our clients? That's what's happening in Jane's world. She consciously wants good clients. She wants those awesome projects that she sees other people in her field have. But all she seems to find are the wrong clients. And honestly, she's burned out from it. You know, she wants clients who are willing to pay for her services, willing to make an investment, will listen to her recommendations because she's got 10, 15 years of expertise in her business, and that are happy to work with her. But she can't seem to figure out where they are. Okay? And then case study number 3. So Megan is a new business owner, right? A kind of a startup. She's had an idea for 3 years. It relates to her career. She's kind of got a network built around it, a really simple business idea. She's ready to grow. But she takes the time just to define what it is she's doing, who her ideal person is, how she should talk to these people in a way that's attractive to them, how her solution to their problem is a perfect fit, and then really enable her clients to say yes. And because she's had that process of working through the right client and how to have them say yes and what's going to happen when they do say yes, she's primed and ready. So she's out having networking meetings and connections, and she has even a happy hour. This was a cocktail, and as she's sharing what it is that she does, the person that she's with just really falls out of their chair. Oh my goodness, you need to talk to my client. You are exactly what he needs. Let me make the introduction. That introduction leads to a $50,000 client who's so excited to work with her that they're calling going, can you send the invoice? I want to FedEx you a check tonight. Those are three situations that I think really span things that business owners go through. But the truth of the matter is there are actually three client stories. And two of them are the before part, the problems that people came in to our work together that we needed to fix. And I wanted to show you what happens when you fix it. So case study 3 is a perfect example, except in all honesty, all three clients are having phenomenal results with the clients that they have and the business growth that they have. But you can see the difference, right? You can see the difference of having a poor fit client and really being able to have that good fit client. So if you can imagine all those things and the possibility that exists when you get to choose who you want to work with, when you feel great about saying no to a wrong fit. I mean, great as in you wish them the best. They appreciate you for saying no. It is a win-win situation. When you're able to have that deep and meaningful work with your clients and they're excited to pay you, like you're not having to ask. They're excited. Or if you do remind them, they're like, sure, let's go for it. That's thrilling in the business versus having to fight and struggle and ask for payment and have it be late and really struggle in that aspect. But when you're charging more and you have happy clients, that's a win-win for everyone. So if that sounds a little bit like heaven, I want to know that it should sound great. It really should, but I want you to realize that it's not so far away from being reality. I would just invite you to join us for the Right Client Revolution. And so there's a lot here that will accomplish as part of that. It is a 90-day program, but what you get as the results are huge and tremendous. So you get the definition of that right client. You can do your own specific checklist that tells you in 15 minutes or less whether or not this would be a good client. Imagine the time that you could save there. You can create that client attraction map. No more just looking for the needle in the haystack. You know where to go, where your clients are, and you're developing those strategic partnerships that are win-win-win. They're win for you, they're win for your partner, and they're a win for the client. That is huge. You can design that ultimate client experience that produces raving fans, but also encourages your clients to purchase from you 2 and 3 times. That is a key to a very leverageable and very viable business, is being able to get repeat purchases. But imagine the confidence that you'll have when you can say what it is you do in a way that your right client loves to hear, has them saying yes, enables you to deliver great value and get paid for it. Whatever that level is for you is fine. But you need to be at the optimal level for you and for your business and for the goals that you have in your life. And if you don't have those things, if you don't have enough right clients, if you don't have the value, if you aren't seeing the results, if it's not easy, then you need to join us. I'll be honest. You just need to come on board and let's go have some fun, because this is my playground. But some of the tools, I love tools. I love to make things simple. I don't think I can say easy enough. I'm all about making it really super simple for my clients, and that's why we can have really great results. But that quiz that I talked about is part of the program, so it's easy for you to find. Sometimes if I ask you to sit down and take out a sheet of paper and write, down who your client was, you're going to be staring at that blank sheet of paper for a really long time. But we all love quizzes. We all love the quickness of it, and it's kind of fun. So we've developed one that will take you to that ideal client. But we've also talked about that web of influence, right? And I love the image here because this, your ideal client, if you think they're only 6 degrees away, if you ever played 6 degrees away from Kevin Bacon, you see how simple it is. And the truth of the matter is that your clients are around you. You just need to put the right people into place into your web of influence that can show you the path to those clients. And then because like I've said, I'm not about cookie cuttering. I'm not about, band-aiding. I really want implementation and actual results for every one of my clients. We're going to have some live Q&As to be a part of this program. So we have two 90 minutes. We actually have ability for feedback all through the program, but I'm going to put 2 in there that are just about questions so that we make sure no stone gets unturned and no question gets left unanswered. And yeah, the No Woman Left Behind, I'm passionate about that. So if this is right for you, I would invite you to take action today. Fast action. Take the commitment, make the choice to invest in yourself, invest in your business, and change who you serve for 2015 and change your business in doing so. If you're one of the first 5 people to register, you get a couple of things. You get that 60-minute quick start coaching section, which I'm going to book those in right away so that we can get you started and I can get you moving in the hot spots for you and for where you are in your business. But you also will get one of our 15-minute hot seats that'll be a part of the training programs. If you're one of the group of 7 people that you get one of those hot seats. So we'll have a hot seat for virtually every class so that you're able to get some questions answered on the spot. What's beneficial about this is that your classmates get the benefit of it as well. You reap the benefit of hearing somebody's perfect situation and specifics so that you understand how to make this real for yourself. So I'm really committed into having those be very impactful for you guys, but also very specific and important. So I'm going to scoot down a little bit. I'll let you know about the investment in just a second, but I want to talk about the guarantees. I've got 3 huge guarantees because of the common concerns. If you're worried about maybe this isn't the right thing, I'm going to give you a 30-day money-back guarantee, no questions asked. Send me an email and I will refund your money. Within 30 days, if you figure out this program is not for you. I have invested in programs that weren't what I thought they were going to be, and I would have loved to have this option. And so I want to give it to people because I want it to be meeting your needs, but I also want you to be in it to win it, so to speak, and to be able to get results from it. So if it's not for you within the first 30 days, money back, no problems. The next part of this is, and I know how rare this is, there's only maybe 1 or 2 other people out there offering this kind of a guarantee, but for the next 3 years, what you pay today will enable you to retake this course for 3 years for free. Anytime I run it, you'll have access to it. So you'll be able to take information that we've improved, new tools that we've used. If as your business changed, your right client fit needs to change, you can do this again for 3 years. That's a huge gift. And then because, like I said, it's not about cookie cutter approaches here. It's not about, a one-size-fits-all. I've designed this program to really have some interactivity to where we're building the course to meet your needs. And so on a weekly basis, you'll have just a short little survey that will help me zero in on what it is that you need. Because I do this, I can't have everyone in. I can't have a huge class of 50 or 20 or 30. It's just not possible for me to deliver the information I want to deliver at the level that I want to deliver it. This is a great mechanism, but it also ensures that you get your questions answered. So you can be in a group program, you can have all the benefits of that, but you can also make sure that your needs are being met as well as the needs of everyone else. So if that sounds all good, let me tell you what the investment is. I don't have it on the page, and part of that is because if you take fast action, you get rewarded. But if you do click through, you'll see that the normal tuition for this is $9.97. If you're able to make the commitment to me today, I'm able to discount that for you. It's called the time value of cash. It's actually a good business principle. But I'm going to discount that to $697. So it's $700. Let's talk about $700. How much is a client worth to you? Have you ever really looked at that? And have you looked at all the money that you've let go by serving the wrong client? It probably amounts up to 5 times, 10 times that amount. This is a small amount that can change your life in big ways. It's in my world, and as I look at things, it's an easy return on your investment. How quickly can you return that investment? How quickly can you put it into action? And the answer is quicker than you think. For some people, it might take the full program to start to see results because you're starting at an earlier stage. For other people that have a good client flow, you're actually going to see the impact pretty darn quickly, about as quickly as you do the work. So if you do the work, I guarantee you will see results. It's as simple as that. And because I've designed this in such a way to really make sure that we're meeting you where you need, if you raise your hand, we're gonna be there to help you. I think it's a no-brainer. And so I would encourage you to just go through and sign up and join us on this fun revolution, and let us know. I do have a payment plan. If that's of interest to you, then I would just say email me and we can discuss what that is. And you can email me at leslie@yourbizrules.com, and I do respond to my email, so I'll be happy to touch base with you and talk to you about what our options might be. If you still got questions, I want you to let us know. I'm happy to take some time and answer your questions because I would want somebody to answer mine. And that's the simple truth of it. But I know this works. I know these strategies work. I've seen it work with my clients. I've seen it work in my own business when I play and test and measure things to prove their viability. And I want to see them work in your business. So we are actually pretty good here. I'm going to pop over and just see if we have any chat comments. Some days we do, some days we don't. I'm going to stop sharing the screen so you don't see that pretty telescoping effect. But we're doing great, guys. I'm actually going to be wrapping up early, and would say if you see the chat window and you have a question, now's a great time to ask those questions. I'm happy to answer them. We'll give just a minute for you to type it in and go. But I hope you learned a lot from here, and I hope you can see what the value of having the right clients in your business really are. And we'll just give it just a few minutes. Okay, so we don't have any questions. That's good. So I hope you're ready to jump on board with us and join me for the Right Client Revolution. I'm ready to revolutionize your business and revolutionize how you do business and have a little fun along the way. So that's it for today, guys. I say thank you for joining us. And by all means, if you have any questions and want me to answer them privately or in person, just email me at leslie@yourbizrules.com. All right, guys, thank you so much, and we'll talk with you soon.